Hello, Dancing with the Stars fans. I'm Daniel Montgomery here with my fellow Gold Derbyites, Cordell Martin and Jeffrey Kare. We're here to talk about this week's two-night event on Dancing with the Stars, Stories Week, which was most memorable here on Monday, and then Prom Night on Tuesday. A lot happened, a lot to go over, and then a lot to preview with a Michael Buble Night coming up. So let's start with that big, reveal on most memorable year night. Selma Blair, who has multiple sclerosis, having to bow out of the competition for her health. We were spending the night thinking about what the surprise announcement's going to be, thinking it was just going to be a non-elimination round, maybe. What did you think about that turn of events, Cordell, and kind of how that transpired at the end of the night?
Yeah, I mean, to your point, we were just trying to figure out what was going to be this grand twist. Initially, I thought it was just going to be one of those fake out eliminations that they tend to do on most memorable night. But as the night went on and noticing how much they were showing Selma, I kind of figured, okay, I think she's going to drop out due to health reasons, which that was my initial fear, once they announced her as a contestant, that I'm like, boy, I don't know how long she's going to be able to withstand, all the wear and tear on her body. I will say it was great for her to have that final dance and to be able to go out on the high notes as opposed to injuring herself. And I thought it was just a nice way for them just to, give her a fitting tribute to her journey on Dance with the Stars.
What did you think about it, Jeffrey?
Well, it was definitely sad to see her go so early, but understandable. And, I thought she and Sasha gave such an incredible performance to go out on, and, perfect song to match the mood of it all. And, it's very fitting that she would get the first perfect score of the season, which, honestly isn't gonna matter for the competition. But hey, I'm always glad that she to have one last dance before leaving.
Yeah, I for one say that those perfect scores count, because then they tried to say like the next night, like Gabby and Wayne got the first perfect scores of the season. It's like, no, you gave them to Selma fair and square, even though she dropped out. Don't act like those don't count.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah, it was really moving. I don't get like moved a lot by Dancing with the Stars, but she seems to have really valued her time on the show and her journey on the show. So I really kind of felt for her and felt for everyone else in the cast, because they all seemed really close and to be rooting for each other as much as for themselves. So then on Prom Night, we had a normal elimination, although it was the first sort of unpredictable bottom two, in the sense that it didn't line up exactly in the kind of diagrammatic way it's been going on. Like the two people who were at the bottom of the leaderboard weren't in jeopardy. The guy who was in the bottom two last week was not in the bottom two this week, Trevor Donovan. And we got Joseph Baena and Heidi D'Amelio in the bottom two. Joseph was near the bottom of the leaderboard, but not at it. Heidi had high scores and still landed in the bottom two. And because of those high scores, not surprisingly, Heidi was saved and Joseph was eliminated. What did you think about that, Cordell?
It was a very interesting night. And I know we'll probably talk more about the dance marathons, but that definitely just screwed the whole thing up. It will be very interesting to see had some couples didn't get that extra boost, what the final two would be, because I had a funny suspicion that I think the bottom two would have been Jesse and Trevor when it was all said and done. I think maybe they wanted to make it less predictable, just because as we've seen week after week, the couple that was saved ended up in the bottom two the following weeks. I think they wanted to switch it up a little bit. In terms of who was in the bottom two, I figured Joseph's time was coming eventually. He was, near the bottom of the pack the last couple of weeks. While I think he was, one of the stars that was improving week after week. He just really wasn't having that moment to kind of shine like the other stars. And Heidi, I figured eventually she would land in the bottom. Not this soon, but I figured it was coming. She's another one who I think does a great job, but she's just lacking the personality to really connect with the audiences. However, I do think she'll probably be safe next week. I think her daughter's fan base are probably going to rally behind her, and we may not see her in the bottom two. So maybe this is what she needed to kind of get that fan support, but not surprised with her landing in the bottom two, but didn't expect it to be this early.
What did you think about it, Jeffrey?
Well, there's a lot. Well, I mean, for one, I thought Joseph and Alexis did such. Well, I thought their work in night one was almost splendid, whereas in night two, I mean, I thought not as good, but they at least deserved A for effort. And while Joseph was getting better, I'm still not too sad to see him go. And I do echo a lot of what Cordell said regarding, Heidi. I can definitely see how, maybe next week, Charlie's fan base could rally around Heidi to keep her afloat for a while, but that's something we're gonna have to wait and see.
Yeah, it did surprise me that Heidi landed at the bottom so early in the season. Well, it's about halfway through the season, but with so many people in the competition still left and she being so high up on the leaderboard, it's like, wow, she does not have fans. That poor woman who's dancing really well, and she just does not have a fan base. So let's talk about that those dance marathons, that wacky dance marathons that honestly, this was my first dance marathon. I don't know how it differed from previous dance marathons that have been on the show. I didn't watch the show when they were previously on. That felt like a whole random mess.
Yes.
Like it didn't feel like the dances actually mattered at all. It felt like the judges had a predetermined list of people who they wanted to give a bonus score to and people who they wanted to keep sort of low. And that's what they did, and they managed to eliminate Wayne, Gabby, and Charlie in such an order that their scores were incredibly close still at the top of the leaderboard. And then they gave Jessie James Decker the win, giving her 11 bonus points on the leaderboard. It just felt so arbitrary. What did you think, Cordell?
I'm so disappointed. I mean, I've watched Dancing with the Stars since season 1, and I've never seen a dance marathon be a hot mess like a couple nights ago it was. And it was very deliberate. Like, you can tell the stars who they really don't care for wanted to get out, like Daniel and Vinny, but it backfired. And then the ones that they were trying to protect, like Jesse and Trevor. I mean, Trevor did the same move the entire dance marathon. I mean, lucky for him, he was like far off in the corner that you really couldn't see him because there were so many couples. I think he got lucky in that sense. But, and then Jesse, I mean, I have no words. I was so disappointed. And it was just like, producers and judges, like, let it be. We know who the top scoring dance couples are. Like, just play fair. Like, now you're setting up those stars like Jesse and Trevor to get a lot of backlash because they're like, oh, they're just the producer's favorites. And then the ones you're trying to take out, like Daniel and Vinny, it's only going to make their fan bases vote for them even more. So
it's weird for them to try and sabotage Daniel Durant, though.
yeah.
Like, he seems like such a, like, one of the people, the kinds of people they like, an inspirational story, someone who is evolving on the show as the competition progresses. You think, I mean, maybe they figured that he had the fan base, so they didn't need to protect him as much. But they still did kind of throw him under the bus a little bit.
They did. It was like within, and I don't even think he got like a good 30 seconds of dancing. It was like they started and he was out. I was like, well, dang, like you guys just barely played the music.
What did you think of about the dance marathons, Jeffrey?
Well, I'm not sure if it proved to be necessary because, it was hard to keep track of how everyone was doing because, it just went back and forth and back and forth. And, it was just hard to keep track and all. And yeah, I think it just proved to be pointless.
Mhm.
Yeah, I agree. And we did see Vinny survive again. Do we have any revised ideas about how far we think he'll go? What do you think, Cordell?
I think he's definitely eyeing at least top 6. I mean, I still think Gabby, Wayne, and Charlie are going to be a part of that top 6. With Jordan, Sangela, and Vinny and Daniel kind of fighting out for those last 3 spots. But I think he's looking really good. I mean, especially if he was able to survive a 2-night event and not be in the bottom 2. I think the judges should just prepare themselves for him to go the distance.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, let's see. Night 1, I thought he gave one of his better performances in the competition. Night 2, well, not great, although he does slowly appear to be coming into his own in the competition. And yeah, I echo a lot of what Cordell just said. And, his fan base is really keeping him in this competition, regardless of quality. And yeah, I think we should probably prepare ourselves for how far he could eventually go. I mean, I don't see him making it to the final, but yeah, top 6, definitely a possibility.
And we got a couple of judges' favorites. Gabby and Wayne did get perfect scores on Tuesday night. I'm a little surprised by both of them. I thought like, okay, they'll get a 10 or 2 or something like that from the judges' comments, but like perfect scores across the board. I wasn't feeling the dances quite as much as the judges were. Like, I'm not like calling them bad or anything like that, but like 10s across the board felt like a lot. Do you agree with me, Cordell, or am I completely wrong?
No, I agree with you, but coming into this week, I kind of figured the judges were going to kind of once again, create a playing even field against the top 3. Especially once Charlie got the 10s night 1, I'm like, I guarantee you Wayne and Gabby are gonna at least get a couple 10s, if not a perfect score. Just to show that Charlie isn't running away with this competition like a lot of us audience members see happening. But yeah, that was my thought.
How about you, Jeffrey?
Well, I thought both Charlie and Gabby did very well on both nights respectively, but especially on night 2 where they earned perfect scores. And so I'm really not mad at the judges for going that far. And because again, I think they were definitely deserving of them. Now, and of course, they are the first perfect scores that will officially matter for the competition. Sorry, Selma, if you're watching or listening to this, but yeah, but Charlie and Gabby, hey, they've earned it.
Which brings us to Michael Buble Night, which is the theme night coming up. I'm sending y'all the dances so we can all look over them and discuss them together. It'll be interesting. We're down to the top 10. And it feels like a long way in the season to still have 10 people, but that's what happens when you start with 16.
Oh yeah, who knows if we'll get another double elimination before the finale.
Definitely.
We would have to. We would have like double or triple elimination at this rate because, and at this rate, I can't see going into the final with fewer than 4 people, just because you have to get rid of them in like handfuls every week now. So I will list the celebrities and the dance style. And the song that they're dancing to. We've got Wayne Brady. He's doing a quick step to I Get a Kick Out of You. That should be interesting. A pretty fast dance for Wayne. I'm a little worried for his knees. Then Charlie D'Amelio is doing a foxtrot to Fever. She'll get a perfect score.
Yeah.
I feel like that's going to be so easy for her. Heidi D'Amelio. Oh, poor Heidi. She's getting a samba to It Had Better Be Tonight, which, I think she'll be competent on a samba. I don't know if it's going to help her get high enough on the leaderboard or get those fan votes. So I'm a little worried for her getting a samba at this point. Jesse James Decker will be getting a salsa to come dance with me. I'm worried for her too. Not sure salsa is going to be quite in her wheelhouse. Trevor Donovan is going to get a foxtrot to come fly with me. So I think that sounds like a relatively safe dance for Trevor. I think he'll do better than Jesse James, at the very least. Daniel Durant is dancing a foxtrot to Feeling Good. And foxtrot, a lot in hold. I think Britt will be able to guide him very well in a dance like that. Vinny Guadagnino is dancing a cha-cha to Save the Last Dance for me. I don't think the cha-cha will be very good for him. I don't think it'll matter. Because that's a fast-paced dance, and I don't know. Like he doesn't have the technique at this point.
Yeah.
Shangela has a tango to Hollywood. That is the dance I'm now officially looking forward to the most.
Yes.
Only thing that would be better if they gave Shangela an Argentine tango. I want to see Shangela do it.
Yes, I do too.
Then we've got Jordan Sparks and Brandon Armstrong. They're doing also a foxtrot to You Make Me Feel So Young. I think that's a good dance for Jordan. And Gabby Windy is dancing a rumba to Home. I think she needs the expressiveness for the rumba, but I think I think she's got it. Like, yeah. I think she'll be fine on the rumba. What do you think about that list of dances? Celebrity Cordell.
Yeah, I think the stars who have the ballroom dances are going to do well. I think a lot of them are going to either see their scores improve or kind of still be on the same level as last week. I'm concerned with Heidi and Jesse. And Benny, I mean, it's not going to matter with Benny. Like, he could just stay in there and he'll be safe. Jesse, I don't know. It could go one of two ways. I think with her winning the dance marathon might boost up her confidence. I think she's starting to hit her stride and be more confident as a dancer. Heidi, I could see the judges overscoring her. Because once with her being in the bottom two, I can see them kind of, bypassing a couple of mistakes or any errors that she makes and give her a padded score so she won't be in the bottom two. So that's what I'm predicting.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, there's certainly some great songs to work with here. And I think Wayne, Charlie, Daniel, Shangela, Jordan, Gabby will do very well. I mean, it should be interesting to see how Jesse and Heidi will do. And I guess also Trevor. Vinny, well, not looking forward to it, but he might as well do nothing in his routine, and his fans also rally to save him. But other than that, yeah, I think, well, it should be an interesting night, especially since it's worth noting that Michael Buble is set to be part of Derek Huff's upcoming wedding. So, an interesting connection there.
Yeah, and Buble will be a guest judge on the show. It'll be it's always interesting to see how the guest judge dynamic will be because they're not always keyed into what the game plan is when it comes to scoring. So like those are the only times where we see like sometimes the score 2 points higher or 2 points lower than everyone else gives. What are you expecting from him as a judge, Cordell?
Yeah, I think he's just gonna be lighthearted and he's just gonna go probably more of the emotion that each couple brings versus the technique. So we might see some couples get a higher score than they should receive. Like I could see Benny probably getting an 8 or 9 from him because he's like, that was so much fun, and it's a hot mess. So definitely gonna see a little variation between his score and the other judges.
What do you think, Jeffrey?
Well, I think having a fifth judge will definitely be helpful in case if there's a tie for who to save in the end, since, well, with four judges, well, it can be harder to actually tie because, well, if there's two votes for one and one vote for another, then it's up to the fourth judge to save, but that gets a little tricky. But this time, in case if we get two votes for one, two other votes for one, it'll be up to the fifth to be the tiebreaker. So that'll be handy. And well, yeah, I'll be curious to see what Buble thinks of everyone's performances to his songs.
Yeah, if they even let him, I wonder if they'll let him do that deliberation.
Yeah.
Which will be interesting, because it'll be the first time that there can't be a tie. And it's funny because the way the scoring works, or the way the judging, the four of them work out, and with Len being the head judge and breaking ties, you literally have to have it be unanimous with the other three to override a Glenn vote or a Len vote. Because if it's 2-1, whichever Len picks is the one who is safe. If they're all unanimous, obviously that person is safe. So like it really has to be the other three saying one thing and Len saying the other to override Len. It's like 90% of the time, Len is deciding who stays and who goes on the show. So I would love to see Michael Buble actually get to be involved in that section of the show and get to take Len out of it for the first time in terms of like, since you can't have a tie with 5 people, that'll be nice to see. Anything else you're looking forward to, Cordell?
I think it should be a good night. I think Michael Bublé's catalog definitely fits the Dancing with the Stars theme, so I'm definitely looking forward to a lot of these performances. And just curious to see who's going to be at the top. Well, actually, we already know who'll be at the top, but just seeing which, stars start to rise to the top and who will be in the bottom two. I'm curious to see if Trevor can escape it 2 weeks in a row. So looking forward to see how that all shakes out.
Yeah. What are you looking forward to, Jeffrey?
Well, again, I'm looking forward to, well, as always, I'm looking forward to seeing how everyone does with the songs, from their footwork to the production values of it all. And so, yeah, I think this should be a fun night. And I'll be curious if we once again see a couple avoid getting in the bottom two for the second week in a row, like we did this past week. So, hey, that was nice that the trend was bucked this season so far. So yeah, I think this should be a fun night.
Well, I'm looking forward to it too, and I'm looking forward to discussing it on the night and afterwards with both of you, as always. So thank you, Cordell and Jeffrey, again for joining me, as always, and thanks to everyone for watching. We will see you again next week.